Prof, interesting remarks there by Natasha and, of course, the EFF mentioning the ambitions in, KZN.
Yeah.
Of course, KZN, like Gauteng, like the Western Cape, were hotly contested provinces. Just talk to us about what are you reading into just the changes that we are likely to see as the results trickle in are telling us in as far as those 3 provinces are concerned. I mean, I want to use a word that, Samkele used before, in that the MK party is wreaking havoc in KZN, for example.
Yeah, even before I go to that, Marshal Dlamini says, Natasha Peer, I'm talking to the incoming premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Marshal Dlamini. And I say, Marshal is right. Whoever goes to war, especially generals and with his or her troops, and say we are going to lose.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have any possibility, even if that is outside the realm of possibility, but you can never say to our troops, we are going to lose. Now, that said, let's just go back where Marshal Dlamini wants to be the premier.
All right. Prof, let's leave it there for now, but thank you so much for your analysis. Of course, you don't want to be, drawn into predictions.
No, I'm
but
ready.
It's fine. We'll speak to you a little bit later on just to get some of your comments in terms of some of the predictions that are coming in. But for now, let me cross back to my colleague Oliver, who's on the ground, of course, engaging with the various political parties. Oliver, over to you.
Yeah, I'm coming to you here live on the rock floor. As you can see behind me here, people are gathering for that imminent feedback report and briefing that we'll be getting from the IEC very, very shortly. That will take place at 4 p.m. and we'll be listening to that very, very shortly. But let's take a look at some of the political parties here. I'm here with the IFP. Of course, the big talk of the town right now is whether or not KwaZulu-Natal will be going to the MK party, to the IFP, to the ANC. Nobody knows what's going on. I'm joined by the Secretary General of the Deputy Secretary General of the IFP, Mr. Mngano. Talk to us. What is the IFP thinking about right now about in what direction they're going to be voting when push comes to shove? Right now, the IFP would need the EFF to get across the line and mount a war against the MK party, or it would need to vote with the ANC. Where are the tables? How are the tables turning? Where are the chips falling, as it may?
Thank you. Well, the tables have not fallen. We are just 20% mark. We still have 80% to come through. And the votes that we are seeing there are not actually coming from our strongholds, are votes that we have been picking up in various places. Therefore, there is no panic yet. We are not yet talking about coalitions. That is until after the results have actually officially been announced.
Okay, we're going to have to see how that plays out. Of course, KZN is still under that 15% comfort mark that we were speaking about earlier, where we can get sort of a realistic projection and prediction into how the province will play out. But more to come over there. Over here, we're joined by Hope for SA. Gerry Visser, he's the spokesperson of them. They are 5 months old, and they're sitting on 5,000 votes at the moment. Gerry, where are you guys from? Tell us about Hope for SA and how it came about in the last 5 months.
It's actually, we're not politicians, we're businessmen and businesswomen that come from all over the country, that has blueprints that's been developed over many years, that only came into fruition now, and we are ready to implement if we're given a chance and make a change in South Africa, because I think it's time for change.
Yeah, where do you see the final numbers falling and looking for you guys? Of course, you would have engaged South Africans before this. What were you guys hoping for?
Well, I think the metros are still to come in, and that's where our big support is. So we are hoping, whatever, we are based on biblical values, so whatever God has, He has in plan, and that will happen. And we are still very hopeful of what is to come, because the bigger metros are still to be counted.
Thank you so much, Gerry, and all the best. Of course, we'll keep looking at those numbers. Let's walk on over here and see which other political parties are here. I must tell you that a number of these parties just didn't rock up. If you look over here, the NFP, National Freedom Party, no one's here. This is a hijacked table, so to speak, from this young lady sitting over here. The OHM, they have someone sitting here, and it's quite a slow time here. If you look at the People's Movement for Change, all of these being relatively new political parties, the Patriotic Alliance, their table is also empty, despite them doing surprisingly well. One table that seems to be full is that of Mzansi, where we have the head of internal democracy, Butumelo, with us. Rise is numbers aren't picking up as fast as it should. Where do you guys think and hope that momentum will start coming from?
Thank you, Oliver. Well, I mean, most of the traction we've built and the base we've been able to consolidate has been in the metros, forgotten townships in Western Cape, in Gauteng, and in some parts of KZN. So this is a very, very early picture. Majority of this is rural voters. I mean, you'll know yourself that I think of all of the VDs in Gauteng that have reported so far, we're sitting about 12 to 13%. So this picture is set to change a lot. And that's true for a lot of other urban-based political parties. So we are expecting quite significant shifts in the picture that we're seeing at the moment, but we're also really, really confident that we'll still be able to make a significant impact in the National Assembly, and that we'll be able to consolidate a strong footing there.
Yeah, I guess I have to say all the best, and we'll see how that number turns out. It is only at 21% of that. We'll talk again when you guys get to the 50% mark and ask if that picture has really changed.